1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That means it's a Jeep. Welcome to Brake Check. I'm your host, Brian, and behind the camera we have
Craig.
And we're gonna show you a first drive review of the Jeep Grand Cherokee L. What does L stand for?
Long?
That's actually what it stands for. Yeah.
Large?
Large in charge, maybe? This is actually a 3-row crossover. It replaces the previous generation Grand Cherokee. And don't worry your sweet little hearts. There will be a non-L version coming out later this year, probably released as a 22 model, but it will be a shorter version of what you see here.
It'll just be the regular Grand Cherokee.
It'll just be a Grand Cherokee non-L. The reason why, and we've talked to Jeep about this, the reason why, and others, this is a 3-row and why it came out first is because 75% of the buying market for premium SUVs demand a 3rd row. And the Grand Cherokee was leaving some of that on the table in sales in the previous generation, which I'm glad the new generation is coming out. This has the Uconnect 5 and all that good stuff, which Craig will show you the interior in just a minute. But let's talk about the exterior real quick. What you see here is a limited trim, has the 3.6 liter Pentastar V6, and it has the Quadra-Track 1, which means it is a single speed transfer case. It does have an on-demand all-wheel drive system. It can send power as much as 100% to the front or the back as needed. You can go up one level in the all-terrain system to the Quadra-Track 2, which has the 2-speed transfer case, same technology, and there's a level above that that has a locking differential in the rear as well, which is pretty cool. Most 3-row crossovers just don't offer that. Jeep does, but not crossovers, so they've mashed those together and given you this. So look at the looks. This thing is actually way bigger than it looks. Look at a photo online, it doesn't do it justice. This thing is longer than a Durango, although it looks about the same size. It feels very similar, it doesn't feel too wide, which is a good Jeep trait. You know, a lot of vehicles are massively wide. The Sequoia, for example, is huge. We're showing you this one today because it's a non-Hemi version. This is a more entry-level version. And the actual MSRP on this one is $51,000. This will be a mass market version.
It's gonna be a popular one.
Be a popular one. You'll sell a lot of these. There are Hemis, there are the higher all-wheel drive systems, but this is gonna be the main one that you're gonna see. I think it looks good. You've got 20-inch wheels. These look good. They've got the standard run-of-the-mill brakes behind it. I'm actually curious, Craig, do you think there'll be an SRT version of this?
I don't know. I wonder if there'll be an SRT version or a Trailhawk version.
I think a Trailhawk would be appealing. I don't know that it's really gonna be effective with this long of a wheelbase. Maybe the non-L will get that.
Nothing announced yet.
Nothing announced yet. Styling's all new. Now, when I look at the taillight, I think of Cherokee. This looks just like the Cherokee to me in the way that it's shaped and styled. For those that don't know, this car's been loaned to us by Mike Brown Ford in Granbury, Texas. Check out Charles Brockman if you're looking for one. They've got them in stock. Great guy, helps us out all the time. Again, there is a towing package on this. You can tow, I think it's over 7,000 pounds with this.
It's right at 7.
Right at 7 with the right equipment. You can also do Quadra Lift, or the lift system, which is the air suspension package. It's similar to what the Ram trucks have. That actually gives you additional ground clearance. This one does not have that, but it is an option to get. If you're serious about off-roading, you want the 2-speed transfer case, you definitely want the rear locker, and you definitely want the airlift suspension. So what's interesting about this to me is that it sandwiches between the Grand Cherokee and the Wagoneer. So if you are competing with Suburbans, you're gonna be looking at Wagoneers or Grand Wagoneers. They have the same tech in them. If you're competing with something like a Tahoe or a shorter Expedition, this is probably in that wheelhouse in terms of space and usability. With all that, let's take it to the interior.
One of the neat things about the Grand Cherokee L and the interior, Brian, is this is the new design language for all of Jeeps going forward. So this is the first iteration we see of this. The Grand Cherokee itself, like you mentioned earlier, is coming out as well. It's got the same kind of styling in the interior. The Jeep Compass has just been refreshed and announced. You see the exact same thing in that. So you're gonna kind of see this corporate styling coming through the Jeep lineup, and they've done a good job. Boy, have they done a good job. It's really, this is a mid-level trim. It gets even fancier than this, but even this one's doing pretty good. You get physical buttons for HVAC and for radio, plus you can also use the nice touchscreen. This is the Uconnect 5, which is very smooth, very fluid. It came out first in the Durango. This is the second vehicle we've seen in Stellantis with the Jeep. This is the first iteration of the all-digital instrument cluster. We've had kind of a hybrid version previously. This one is now all digital and I think looks really good. So all the touch points, very premium. This is a very well done interior. This particular trim level, hard plastic here, but the upper trims, that gets soft touch. In the upper trims, even the door is soft touch. So kind of a wide range of pricing in this thing. You can go from like 35 all the way up to about 65. this thing's going to compete with a lot of different vehicles. Center console, you got a little spot for your cords and your phones and that sort of stuff, and then you also got a nice deep bin for other things. One of the neat things about this is we get the nice turn knob that connected to the 8-speed ZF transmission, and we get a toggle for your different off-road modes. This is the Quadra-Track 1, like Brian mentioned, so you do not have the 2-speed transfer buttons and other modes. This is an all-time 4-wheel drive. Really neat thing with the Jeep Grand Cherokee L, this is also the first time we've seen this key from Jeep. This is completely different. Haven't seen it in any of the other Jeeps. Very premium and different. So let's move on to the second row. Moving on to the second row, we have this is a tri-zone in this particular trim, and we have dual zone up front. We have a single zone in the back, but you can get an option with a dual zone in the back, giving you 4 total. Really comfortable seats in the back. This is a particular option is a 6-seater. You can get an option as a 7-seater. You cannot get an option as an 8-seater. It has a neat folding trick with these seats here. You can fold it forward while your car seat is still in it. It stays together, and this seat moves forward so that you don't have to take it apart.
For parents that have young kids, it's got good HVAC in both the the B-pillar columns, as well as the rear console.
Absolutely, very good point. Yeah, you have center and B-pillar. A lot of cars kind of make it easy, and they mail it in, and they do the roof only. This has it in the B-pillars in not only the second row, but also the third row.
Rear, yeah.
So let me move to the third row for you, Brian, and show you what it does for an adult. And again, like all third rows, people like to criticize them for not being very roomy, right? But adults aren't supposed to be back here. Having said that,
it's pretty good.
It's not that bad. I mean, I would ride across town to dinner in this thing and not complain.
And this second row seat does slide forward. It's in the furthest back position right now.
This is the furthest back position, and I do have some room. I could have a little bit more if need be.
Something else worth mentioning, fam cam.
Fam cam.
It does have fam cam just like the Chrysler Pacifica.
Just like in the Pacifica.
And we reviewed that car before. Check that out below if you want to see that.
Absolutely. Oh, hey, you want to drive this?
Let's drive it.
Let's go.
Okay, we're in sport mode. We're going to merge into traffic real quick. This is, again, the V6, not the V8. Let's see if it's enough with this 3-row.
Hit it.
Pulls all the way to 65. Wow.
Okay. All right, quick shift.
And 60.
Not bad.
That's reasonable enough.
And you know the best part, though?
What's that?
The ZF.
Oh, God, this transmission's so good.
Oh, man.
I've never driven one that didn't make me happy.
Right.
For an automatic. Now, I think this is really in the ballpark with the Pacifica V6. It feels a little bit slower than that, but because it's rear-wheel drive, I feel like it launches a little bit better, so it kind of makes up for it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so this is just a quick first drive. We don't don't really have time for a full review, but we wanted to get this out to everybody. So, Brian, here's my question for you, though. We're not going to do a hipster score or who this is for.
Skip all that.
But I do want to ask you, is this a compelling option? Would you consider it, would it be on your list compared to an Explorer, other rear-wheel drive?
Yes.
Durango, another rear-wheel drive.
Okay.
Telluride, Palisade,
Okay.
Sequoia, Tahoe. Does it compete in all those?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts
Absolutely
compared to those?
it does. Now, on price, if you get a V8, you're in Tahoe territory.
Yep.
In V6 mode, you're competing with everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
The Durango feels much older than this on the interior.
Yep.
This feels fresh and clean sheet, and also Uconnect 5 is way better.
Although the new refresh in Durango has the Uconnect 5.
It does.
It's better.
But the design language is very similar to previous years.
Exactly.
And this feels completely different.
This is all new, and I like what they've done.
And for that reason alone, I would pick this over that competition.
Okay.
And I think I would, and the Palisade and Telluride are really compelling, but I think if you need to tow with any amount of seriousness, this puts it in front of it.
This is a little more trucky, even though it's still a crossover.
Right.
Yeah.
But it is also narrower than a Tahoe or an Expedition. So it's a little easier to park and live with. So I think it really hits a sweet spot.
They've done the Jeep trick of it's comfortable and a little premium and a little upscale, but still has some off-road chops.
It does.
So good job.
And we've driven this around a little bit. The ride quality is quite good. It's not choppy. Your kids aren't going to get car sick like my kids like to get car sick. And you won't spill your coffee. I would like the V8 if I were to own it. But man, this Pentastar is so good, it's hard to complain.
This is a reliable set. The 3.6 and the ZF 8-speed, hard to beat. Very reliable. You're not going to have any problems.
Yeah, if you're nervous about longevity, this is going to be straightforward.
Okay, I've got a phone for the Overlanders out there.
Okay.
Everybody likes the Toyota products, right? The Lexus GX is hot in the Overlanding community.
Yeah, last forever idea. Yeah.
You can get this with rear lockers, a real 2-speed transfer case.
And the lift system.
You get the reliable V6 and ZF 8-speed. Should you consider this over a GX? Let us know in the
Let us
comments.
know in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you like what you've seen, hit the like. If you don't, then don't. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching.